Hey YouTube, it's your boy, Happy Monkey Studios. Anyways, I just want to just kind of show off my original D&D map that I've made for the overworld. And what's cool about it is this is the Grey Harp edition that you can find online. It combines all three of the original brown booklets into one, and also has a strategic review that gives the answers to games of what's supposed to do what damage and how much damage and like that type of stuff. Which everything in this game does 1d6 of damage, unless stated otherwise, and then up to say DM's discretion of whatever how they want to play. They could make 20s, nat 20s be crits, so you might just do double a d6, or you just re-roll a d6. But anyways, with the map though, what's cool about the old rules is they actually got stuff for traveling. And right here is you actually got a roll, a chance of getting lost, and then you have to make a new direction, as well as it also shows how many hexes each thing can move. So if you are mounted on a horse, say a draft horse, you can move 5 hexes in one day, otherwise you're moving at 3 hexes. But the only thing I have to complain about the Grey Harp Single Volume Edition is that the encounters for the wilderness is on page 70. Is on page 71. So whenever I'm like doing a game, I have to flip back and forth between looking at these die rules, seeing if they're getting lost as they adventure, and then seeing if they do encounter something. And then up here is like the encounter chart. So if you encounter something in the clearing, you have your men, flyers, stuff, and then you got your mountains, typical, desert. So that's pretty neat that you get actual encounters, and if you go to like the monster page of it, it shows you how many they could encounter as well, which I believe, yeah, is right here. So men, 30 to 300, they can encounter lycanthropes, they can encounter 2 to 20, 40 to 400 in the wilderness. And the way I do combat in this game, especially in dungeons, if there's like, let me show you for an example of a room. If this was it. So in one of my dungeons, room 25, there was 15 enemies in there. And also what I like is just how simple the game is. This is everything that I just needed for the one game, for the one dungeon. Has like the bandits, what level they are, how many they are, armor class to hit score, which you just take that number minus the armor class, and that gives you what you need to roll greater than or equal to in order to hit. Their saving is like if someone casts a spell at, say, one of the bandits, the bandits just gotta look at that chart, how many squares they'll move, and then how much experience they're worth. So in 1974, basically it's like how many hit dice a monster has is how many 100% of like experience you have. So if it's like 3 hit dice for a monster, that's 300 experience, plus I think an extra 100 if there's like a special ability or just however it is. So it's like more free reign, and people level up pretty quick with that, especially if you're finding treasure as well, since treasure and gold also counts for experience. Because I want to say only one person in this campaign has leveled up, and it's our cleric dwarf that has leveled up. He's now level 6 from being level 5 to 6. But anywho, so as I was going with like the encounters, as we were looking at the men in room 25, I believe it was. Or, wait, where was that bandits at? So anyways, where it showed it, oh yeah, the bandits, here they are. So there's 15 of them. Instead of each of them having like 1d6 of health, like say I roll 1d6 and then I roll 3, that means each of them are going to have 3 health. Well, since there's 15 of them, I call this like a heroic fighting. And let's say that they're all grouped in here. Obviously, 15 people can't group up in there. So instead, what I'll do is I'll take dice and just do, here's one group of 5, another group of 5, and then another group of 5. So say that you roll, and so let's pretend this is you right here. You're the number 8 die, and you're gained up by 15 of them. And say that you do hit, and then you roll your d6, and let's say you rolled a 4. Well, since there's 15 of them, and just to make the combat go by quicker, since I can't cram all of them in one room, that's how many you'll kill instead. So let's say you take out these guys. So now there's only 11. There's only 11 bandits now. So right now, since you killed 4 of them, you got 400 experience as of now from that encounter. And then this group will take their turn. Let's say they do 2 damage to you, so now you're down to 6. And this one does 1 damage, and then you're down to 5. You'll go again and say you rolled a 6, you rolled great. So you could either take out one whole group, or you could just take out one. So if you say do 6 where there's more than, or you did more damage than what there are, that means that you'll just clear out that whole group instead. So you're going to go ahead and kill all those ones. So that's an extra 500 experience. So you're now up to 900 experience. And then it just plays on so forth and like that. And that's why I just call like heroic fighting. You know how if you read like the old Conan the Barbarian books back in the 30s, how they're just hacking through people, slicing left and right. And then the Conan will get stabbed once, and then he gets enraged, and then I forget what the one woman is, like the Red Swords or whatever she is. She comes in and helps, and you know they're just tanking blows, basically chopping down people. So that's how I play like these characters. Basically, have my players play it and how I just rule it. But say if there's only say 2 in this room, then yeah, I'll just go ahead and roll a health die. So it's like, so say I rolled the max for a D1 or for something that have 1 health die, which is a D6, then each of these guys will have 6 health instead. Then so it's like you take on 2 that are more tanky, or you take on 15 that are like a horde where they're not tanky. But as far as that's how I run my dungeons basically. And then how I run the world map is, as we saw earlier, before you make your move, we'll go ahead and roll a d6. And if you roll, say, a 1 in the clearing, so like here or here, then you get lost. So the new direction, since you lost a trail, or there was some blocking trail, or just some whatever, basically, we don't know. And this also is easier to leave stuff more open-ended and have better exploration. At least for me, since I don't really prep, I only make a dungeon. I'm like, all right, do you guys want to teleport to the dungeon, or would you guys rather be from, say, this village or that village, or any of these types of villages? And then let's say the dungeon's right here. Would you rather just teleport to the dungeon and you just go start dungeon diving? Or would you actually rather traverse the plains, see if you encounter something else along the way as well? So, and I run the encounters the same way, except they actually give you a thing as well if you encounter people in the rules. So so say that you guys do encounter orcs, right? I have to try finding it. Nope, that's not it. It's probably back up here. That's what I hate about the Grey Harp one, is that it's yep, so okay, so right here, so on page 32 on the Grey Harp edition, so say that you do encounter something, and we rolled something on the page 72s, and let's pretend that you guys were in this village right here, and let's say right here's where the dungeon is. So since no one has horses and we want to take the quickest way, alright, so that's 3 hexes moved, so then that's 1 days of a week's worth of ration consumed. That's only 1 day, so now we're down to 6 rations, and we said the dungeons are here. So it took us 1 day. Okay, say this one we rolled bad, we actually got lost, and our new direction is southeast. So we have to kind of go, let's say, right here. And since we're moving through mountains, that takes us 1 day to move. Since we're on feet, we don't have any horses. So to move through mountainous terrain, that takes us like 1 full day. So we end the day here. Next day, we don't get lost being on mountain terrain. And to come off of it, this will be 1, 2, 3. However, we have rolled an encounter here. So let's say that we encountered orcs. And then I'll just turn to like the pages and hurry up and make it up. And then we're like, all right, we encountered orcs. And now how many orcs do you spot is the thing. So it's like, then I'll roll percentile die. So I have roughly 5 people in it. So we got to get a 60% or higher. And we have a 70 chance of evading them. While if you encountered, say, if we had a smaller party and you knew and you saw 60% of the orcs out, like however many there, you counted 60% of them, then you have a good idea of where they're all going and heading. While if say that you only encounter 25% of them, and let's go back down to the 4 or 9 since that's how many people I play with. So let's say that you only encountered 25% of them. Since you don't know where all their whereabouts are, you guys got a 30% chance of slipping away, or you might bump into, then you have like a 70% chance of bumping into the rest of the group, since you don't know where most of them are. So that's pretty neat how the bigger how many players you have, and retainers as well, not just players, because you could also hire PCs. So it's like, depending on how big it is, the lower your chances are of all you guys sneaking away. But since we have roughly 4 to 9, let's say that you guys encountered 26 to 60%, like that's how many you guys counted, and you think that's how much there are. It's like, all right, do you want to encounter it or do you want to try evading? Then they'll just roll percentile die, and this is a group thing. Whoever rolls it for the group fails. You guys are now in a combat, and I have this entire board, and then I'll have you guys start in the middle as they're like started X amount of spaces away from you guys. And say that you don't want to fight it or you guys are getting wounded, you just gotta pretty much run off the board, and it takes you back to the world map. You guys move again, and then a percentage of if you guys did evade them or not, whenever that happens. And since you guys will be fighting them, then it goes all the way up. Then you have a 70% chance, since you guys have seen where they all are for it. So I'll just bump it up to 7% chance of you guys evading. The army runs past you. You guys just in your turn there for the day. And then you guys finally encounter the dungeon. So, just some lore. Since I keep everything loose in the game, I don't really have a strong stuff. It's pretty much I just make a dungeon. You guys want to be there, or do you guys want to traverse? And then the players pretty much create their own story. And that's what it is with this D&D, is you guys are adventurers. So if you don't want to play, that means that, say in real life, right? It's either, hey, you want to come on and join us on this exploration. I heard that in this, and this is supposed to be like an abandoned, like, not abandoned, it's like a evil cleric wizard town that's like this weird dragon cult thing, to where the people in it had like lizard scale skins that were like falling off them, though. Like it's half flesh, half scale. Is like very gross description, where it's like scabs basically. But think of like, say it's like green color scab, and then the skin, it just looks like a freshborn baby with like covered in the placenta stuff. And that's because this was like an anti-cleric area, and since anti-clerics, they don't have healing abilities, they only have like wounding abilities. So I made a story that they tried doing like a arcane cursed form of healing where it breaks bones and turns them into like lizards through like breaking, you know how you got like a not dislocated, but like, yeah, I guess it could be dislocated too. Like say a dislocated bone or something, how the doctors have to re-break it in order for it to heal right. So that's what they pretty much did, is they just kept like breaking their flesh, their bones over and over to where like scabbed, and then became like weird lizard abomination stuff. Basically, is how everyone looked. All like the humans in here looked. So just some like noted areas, I guess it is, or just places of interest, I should say. These are your hill warrior barbarians, and how I imagine them are like your Celts and Gaelic people, like the French region during the Roman era. Or here's your swamp barbarians, so these are like your Germanic people. Up here is your Conan the Barbarian type of barbarians, where they're like the half naked, all leather kind of stuff. And out west is unexplored Deathlands, basically. And this is like the main, say, evil sorcerer's castle that has like lost touch of the rest of civilization. And the reason why I made the West like that is because of Flapjack in the one episode where the dude's like, West. So it's like a more mysterious kind of thing, since you got the forest and then the mountains, and then you got your arid, dry lands basically for it. And then for like the kingdoms, this is like whatever evil sorcery kind of stuff. And then over here is like your Hellenic, Greco-Roman type of castles. This castle is like your 15th, 16th century castle. Up here is like your, say, 10th and 13th century, or 11th and 13th century type castles. And yeah, that's it for the castles and stuff, which I could probably make this castle later into a dungeon, like, ooh, some evil vampire or whatever took over this castle, and if you guys are interested as being mercenaries, going in and clearing it out for the original king. And that's pretty much just how I come up with these stories. Like, and here's like a dragon cult thing, and one of my players was actually a dragon in the sky sense, and original D&D, and I believe in 5th edition as well. But all the way back in original Dungeons & Dragons, you could actually play as a dragon, and it's a golden one specifically, that they're a class unto themselves, and they disguise themselves as any human / demi-human, and demi-humans in this is your elves, hobbits, and dwarf, and orc. Just anything that looks human related is like a demi-human, basically. So a golden dragon will disguise themselves as like a demi-human, and that's why I did. So the player, for their character sheet, was an elf, fighting man. So they just wrote like what class they were, what level, blah blah, what race. They're an elf, and then they had a secret on the back that they're also a dragon. So we did like the on the monster page, we did the chart of a dragon where you roll. First, you roll to see how old your dragon is. Then you roll that many dice, and whatever your health is the equal damage to your fire breath. So since he was a golden dragon, they also get their own spells, the same spells as magic users. And so they get magic user spells and their dragon breath with it. And so let's say a medium dragon is worth 5 hit dice of health. So that's 5d6s. And let's say that we rolled all 6s with them. So my health would be 30. And since my health is 30, that is also what my dragon breath will be doing. How much damage will be doing? 30 damage with it. So even if I take damage as a dragon, my fire breath or whatever I shoot out of my mouth would still be doing 30 no matter what. So whatever that is the equivalent to what that is, since that's like your age and size basically for it. But yeah, so going over to the character sheet, I love how simple it is, because even though that I say 3.5 because I include anti-cleric as another half class basically. But anyways, this game is more role-playing over rule-playing, because just because you're a fighting man, a magic user, or a cleric doesn't necessarily that you are actually those things. Like, for example, using Star Wars terms, your fighting man will be more of your Han Solo, Mandalorians, clone troopers, anything that's not force sensitive, basically. Your magic users or like your sorcerers in Star Wars, like the Night Sisters, the one Ewok sorcerer from the Ewoks Caravan of Courage, and the one witch lady from the Ewok cartoon show. And then you got your clerics as your Jedis, because you have Jedi and Dark Jedi. The equivalent to that would be clerics and anti-clerics.
Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed. The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
Don't try to frighten us with your sorcerer's ways, Lord Vader. Your sad devotion to that ancient religion has not helped you conjure up the stolen data tapes.
The Jedi are extinct. Their fire has gone out of the universe. You, my friend, are all that's left of their religion.
Jedis do force healing. Dark Jedis do force choking. So one's for healing purposes. And even like in Star Wars Knights of the Republic Online, it's like that, where if you are a Jedi, you have more healing abilities. Or even KOTOR, I should say. In KOTOR, you had that where your light side stuff is your healing, your dark side stuff is your force choke, force lightning type stuff. And that's how it is with like the anti-cleric. Instead of heal light wound, you could cause light wound. Instead of cure poison, you could create poison, and so on and so forth. So, for example, I want to be a cleric, but also like a barbarian cleric. And the way I picture my character is, if say I want to be a barbarian but have magic abilities, I'll be a cleric. I'll give him leather armor. My one spell that I'll have is speaks with animals. And since I'm more of like a barbarian, I don't care about civilization or undead stuff, I'll say I'm an anti-cleric. So instead of healing wounds, or maybe I am a healing druid, shaman person. So, I'll stay as a normal cleric then. But I'll give myself, say, leather armor, a helmet that is like, say a skull cap kind of helmet from Mountain Blade. Just like a simple skull cap kind of helmet. And then I'll either have like a flail, because that's a cool barbarian weapon. And then I'll give myself a buckler as well, or just a shield. So with that, just because it says fighting man or cleric or magic user does not mean that's what it actually is. You actually have to visualize how you see your character in this world and just make up an actual story. Instead of being like in 5th edition, it's like, all right, I want to be a barbarian. So now I'm going to follow these barbarian rules with all these different totems and all this. While in this, like, say I am a barbarian, and all of a sudden it's like, I laugh at armor. It's like, why are you wearing full plate armor and full stuff? That's not being an actual man. You got to use your fists. You got to use two-handed giant swords. Well, then my character comes to a near-death experience that's like, oh yeah, I am going to wear actually plate mail actually instead. So you can kind of like change your story instead of being like limited to a class. There's like some freedom to it, and I understand other people's like not obsession, but like not founding. I can't think of the word, but of wanting to be like combined by rules, like bound by rules. But yeah, just let me know if you guys have ever played any older editions of Dungeons and Dragons at all, and if you liked it or not. I am interested in like wanting to run more of it. So in the comments, let me know if you are interested in trying playing 1974's D&D or not. And I know the whole character sheet looks simple and all that, and that's because instead of it giving you like all this bonuses, it's more grounded as well, because strength, you don't get any ability score bonuses. Only certain attributes do. And let me show you that real quick. So it's not like a 5th edition one at all, where you get all these plus and minuses to stuff. It's very grounded, which some people would hate. Like right here for dexterity, if you have 13, you get a +1 to hit with missiles. And if you're a hobbit, you already instantly get a +1 to hit. And weapons actually have ranges, so the closer it is, the more +1s you'll get. So say with a short bow, if something's within 2 squares of me, I get a +2, And since my dexterity is already at 13, I get an extra one, so I get a 3 up on that roll. And then right here, languages, nobody really does that. So intelligence only matters. So like your first 3, strength, intelligence, and wisdom, that's like what job career and how quicker you're going to actually advance in leveling, since each class has different experiences in order to level up. So like the fighting men need only 2,000 to get to level 2. The wizards need an extra 500, and then your clerics need 500 less in order to level up for it. So it's like, so if you right here, where is it? Here it is, your ability score adjustment. So if you're a fighting man, your prime requisite will be strength, and right here and just because it's your prime requisite doesn't mean you have to put your points into it. Because the way I run these dungeons is, since there's no really, say if you want to make a strength check, there's nothing really here to give you like plus or minuses. So I set a number of like the difficulty of a dungeon. So let's make it simple. So say the difficulty is 23. I'll take 23 minus whatever number you have in your abilities, basically in your stats. So say that you have 13 in your strength, and you want to hurry up and like lift this log out of the way or something. Well, then I'll just take 23 minus the 13 equals 10. And it's a mental thing that I quickly do in my head. I'm like, all right, go ahead and give me a strength check. Just tell me what your strength is real quick. They say 13. All right, me mentally, I know that's 10. So then they roll a d20. If they roll equal to or greater, they obviously succeed. Less than, they don't. So that's how I do with all these abilities. And the reason why I keep it at 23 is because in 5th edition D&D, the easiest thing to roll is a 5 or greater. So 23 minus 18, if you do have 18 in your strength, or even intelligence or wisdom, dexterity, whatever. So say if you want to hide, right? And you made a thief, right? You made a wizarding thief, so like a magic user thief. So you put your highest roll into dexterity, which would be 18. You put, say, 9 into intelligence, so that way you don't gain any or lose any extra experiences. Then you say you put 13 into strength, and you're more like a battle mage, right? Or like a stealth archer wizard in Skyrim. So I want to do 18 in strength or dexterity. So I'll take that 18 minus 23 equals 5. So it's an easy roll. There's like a 5% chance that you could fail it. So it's like, all right, I want to try sneaking through this room without being detected as a sneaking wizard. And you obviously pass it, since you only need to roll a 5 or greater. And that's very odds that you do roll that. So that's how I pretty much play it, like that, with all of my skill checks. But yeah, just let me know what you guys think. And here's like some other stuff too. So charisma. Where is it for charisma? Oh yeah. So right here is like how many people you could hire. So if you have 18 charisma, you could hire 12. I'm looking at this number right here. You could hire a max of 12 mercenaries. So even though that there's only, say, 5 people playing this game, and depending what all your charisma stats are at as well. And this, in the modifier on the right, is what I'll add to your charisma persuasion die roll. So, and with that is a 2d6. So if you're like at an 18, you pretty much get the best deals on like selling stuff, because you got a silver ton, or say that you think that your person is very beautiful looking, and you also got a silver ton on top of that, so that's why you usually find it. But anyways, with the hiring stuff, the max people that could follow you is going to be 12. And then say that you have a friend in it that's charisma is only a 5, then they have 2, so that's right now 14 mercenaries, just between 2 people total has 14 mercenaries. And then you got another person that only has 3 or 4 charisma, so they only could bring 1 mercenary. You got another friend that has, say, 13 into charisma, so they bring 5. And you can see how the armies get big to where in the encountering table that they could get spotted by the other armies. Right here. Yep. So say you got 12 people, and then your one friend only brings 1. The other one brings, say, 8. So you're looking at, like, say, a group of 24 of you. Even though there's only 5 players, there's a total of 24 people within the party. And you guys encounter only over 60%. So let's say that you see roughly 60% of an orc horde or a barbarian horde or whatever. You guys got a 50% chance of evading that, since there's more of you guys all sneaking at once, basically. And that's a huge group roll. Otherwise, in dungeons, it's all individual rolls. And combat-wise, I do like, one person in the group rolls for everyone. And initiative is like one group goes, then the other group goes. It just makes combat easier, because I know some people will be on their phones waiting for their turn. So if I just hurry up and get one group's turn out of the way, then I just do the AIs, the NPCs, enemies' turns. And since they're going to be shrouding the players, everyone's staying engaged the entire time instead of looking up, all right, what does this spell do? Since spells are like a one-page thing too. There's not fluff at all. You don't need to do a hand movement. You don't need a rabbit's foot for it. You don't need a feather or whatever. You just cast it. And if it's a fireball, you just do, you just add your dexterity to see if you hit or not. And with that modifier, if you have a 13, that's already a +1 to your roll. So, yeah, it's a very simple game. I like it a lot. I'm stuck in the 1970s D&D. This is my favorite one to do. And I made a bunch of characters for it, because it's not overwhelming at all. It's literally think of your character. There's no meta really at all, since everyone does 1d6 damage unless they otherwise with spells or with certain weapons, like magic weapons. But anyways, it's like it's something very easy that you could just jump into. It's like, all right, I want to play as a thief with magic abilities. Do I want to be a cleric one, or do I want like cleric magic abilities, or do I want magic user magic abilities? Which you know what, yeah, now I'm thinking about it, since only magic users only could have daggers, and they can't equip armor unless it's like certain enchanted stuff they could equip. So let's say I want to play as an actual thief. So I'm wearing only dark clothes that give me no protection at all. Since I'm only in dark clothes, I have my dagger with me. Well, you know, that's more of an assassin than a thief. But anyways, so I'm thinking about being a thief. So I'm going to do a dump stat into dexterity. Is going to be my highest one that I want to do. My second highest, or at least this to get me, is to 0 extra experience. I'm going to put into my intelligence. And then the rest I'm just going to play around with. Like, okay, I could see myself being physically strong since I exercise in real life. So if I got a 14, I'm going to put 14 in here. I'm going to put my lowest, or say a 9 in here, just to give me 0. I'm going to put, let's say 16 into here. I don't do the old rule where you have to roll down the line. I just do it like 5e, roll 4d6 minus the lowest die, add the other 3 up, and then distribute it however you want, basically. So let's say I put 15 in here. I put 13 to my strength, 9 to my intelligence. I'm pretty healthy, so let's go ahead and say this is another 14 roll. And then my wisdom, and my more spiritual. Let's say my character's not that really spiritual. He doesn't care about the gods or anything like that, basically, or doesn't believe in the Force.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
You don't believe in the Force, do you?
Kid, I've flown from one side of this galaxy to the other. I've seen a lot of strange stuff, but I've never seen anything to make me believe there's one all-powerful force controlling everything. There's no mystical energy field controls my destiny. It's all a lot of simple tricks and nonsense.
At all. So let's say my wisdom is at 7 for it. So there we go. We got, say, 15, 9, 7, 16, and then 14, I believe is what I said. And that's my character. So I'll take all these numbers minus, since I'm the DM, I know this is the number I'm going to do. It's going to be 23. So say I got to make a dexterity check. 15 minus 23 is, let me do quick mental math, is 8. So I got to roll 8 or higher to see if I can sneak across. Or say there's this door or something fell like a rock fell. And since my strength is at 14, then since I'm the DM, I made this up. It's going to be a 20 against a 23. It gives me a 9, so I have to roll a 9 or higher to see if I could lift the rock out of the way. So if you have 18, which is like God strength, you just got to roll a 5, because even though that you're super strong, it's still going to be struggle. And yeah, that's just how I run it. So, and right here is cool, like your spells / abilities, your equipment, magic items, and your gold or whatever you found. Up here will be your normal hit points, temporary ones, like if you took damage, and then your level, race, of course. And I'm allowing every race, even from 5th edition as well, for my game. As long as we could, as long as the racial bonuses we could get it to fit into, we gotta pretty much strip away, downgrade it a bit for like certain things. I don't really know that much since I always play like human. I think I made an elf once, but yeah, other than that, my character is a human. No, I have made a halfling. Here it's called hobbits, which is pretty neat, and they also have balrogs too, which is even cooler. So yeah, just let me know if you guys are interested in wanting to try out original D&D. And I have never done a Discord D&D session at all, but basically it'll just be like, even with my friends now, I've got this dungeon. Yes, this dungeon I gotta convert into 5th edition for my one group. This other one has a new player who has not played D&D at all, hasn't even touched 5th edition. We looked at the 5th edition rulebook, and all the rules and metagaming and all these different stats was just overwhelming. So it's like, hey, if you want to play one that's not overwhelming, that you just literally create a character and go, that there's no meta, like, okay, I know Fireball goes off my intelligence and wisdom, so I just add those two, and that gives me my extra roll, and then the monster has to do a DC save plus against my wisdom. It's none of that bullshit. It's literally create the character. The DM's got everything to worry about, because I have the flow chart of what the saving throws are, depending on what level the creature is and what class it's listed under. It's pretty much you just create a character, and everything is the DM's rest. You guys are just here just to explore, have fun, run around, and that's it. So, yeah, if any of you guys are interested in trying, I know I jump around a lot, and I hate this book. I thought it was going to be cooler, but this was, I thought it was going to have, like, say, monsters in it, like, you know, like a basic BX, Moldvay, and Cooks, or even Holmes edition of D&D. I thought it was going to be something like that. So this just tells you stuff about modern day D&D world, instead of just being like, oh, here's a monster, here's what its abilities are. Not a quick reference sheet at all. It's literally just, all right, here's some back lore if you're big into reading D&D novels that are like modern day stuff. So yeah, I wish it was like a pocket version of 5th edition where it's like, all right, here's page Minotaurs on this side, vampires on this side, or, oh, well, there was a Cabal, but right here, they don't give you abilities at all. It's just, it shows you, all right, a Mind Flare, the height, favorite attack is Psychic. All right, what the hell is that? Unless you already know D&D, this, I can see the book being good for that. But otherwise, this is nothing special at all. Like, yeah, Storm Giant, who think, yeah, solitary thinkers who live isolated lives. There's no stats at all. There's nothing in this book, in my opinion. What's the difference between a mimic and a mind flare? That's how simple it is. It's like, really, you couldn't give like little stats like Fire Giant, 69 health, armor class is 15, damage, 2d10s, or flat is, say, 11 damage if it hits. They couldn't do something simple like that. Instead, it's just quick notes. about stuff that no one really cares about. But yeah, so I am going to be making my 5th edition dungeon with this book. Ironically, and though there's literally nothing in here that says, like, even, I believe this is the classes. Oh, no. But yeah, it's just pack magic, key magic, and then divine powers. They don't... I wish this was a bit cooler. Music magic. I wish it at least gave you, like, a little bit of stuff. Just like a... Here's some monsters, and here's at least the classes. Like, just to get you started with at least one class. At least just one class, you know? But yeah, this book wasn't really worth it, in my opinion. It's not really an expert at all, unless you care about the actual lore stuff, but it's just not interesting. What is, though, is if you guys are interested in playing this, just, yeah, send me a message, and I have you guys run through one of these dungeons, which this one hasn't been ran through yet. That's what I love about how simple this is, too. Like, I have all the enemies, like, alright, there's a magic user right here. It's an enchanter that's armor class 9, hit points is 12, so that's what I'm talking about, where it's like, if it's only one encounters or enough to fit X amount on the squares, then I'll give them their own health. But armor class is 9 at level 1, 9 minus 19, that's 10, so armor class 10. So it's pretty much 5th edition armor class stuff. It's just I, as a DM, having to do math. Alright, it's nothing on the players, nothing complicated on the players, everything on the DM in this one. So it's just armor class 9, HP is 12. It saves as a... no, wait, that's how many spaces he moves. Saving throw is of a level magic user 7 saving throw, and his to hit probability is 17. So say you have armor class of 5, or, you know, let's just make this super simple for me. Armor class of 2, that means I have to roll 15 or higher in order to hit. If it was armor class of, if you did have armor class 5, then that would be a 12 or higher for me to hit you. And then his spells are light, wizard lock, water breathing, charm monster, and he's worth 400 experience since that's a 4th level magic user, plus 10,900 gold, so that's 11,300 experience that you'll be getting for killing this guy or helping him get out of the dungeon, however his monster roll is for it. And then you got giant centipedes. There's 3 of them each. Yeah, so there's 3 of them. So that's how many there are. Their armor class is 8. So if you guys are level 1, minus 19, you guys got to roll 11 or higher in order to hit the centipedes. They're level 1, so they're only 100 experience each, so you can only get 300 experience from it. And their to hit probability is a 19. So if you have an armor class of 5, from the 19, they have to roll 14 or higher in order to hit you with it. And you got Medusas and so on and so forth for the dungeons. And I have the rooms labeled. And that's all I bring to it, is just this book, this, and a whole bunch of dice, and this stuff, since I use dice as my models. But yeah, hope it was all interesting for you guys.